Crikey, Struth, that's a nice croc. I'm sure this heat wave has gotten to my brain because I just did a really terrible impression of Steve Irwin then, and I know I'm disappointed with myself. I know. Anyways, let's talk about a big croc. Good morning everybody, it's your Mosasaurs, Prince Steel, Deinosuchus, Yorkshire, and yeah, I know I wasn't here last week, but that's because it was Father's Day. I was spending a bit of time with my father, you know, value the men in your life. But I thought today we'd talk about an interesting topic, a very similar topic to the video When Pliosaurs Met Mosasaurs, when in this instance we're actually going to talk about when a very large crocodile met Mosasaurs. That's right, we're talking about Deinosuchus, however they want to pronounce it, but Deinosuchus was a large Eusuchian crocodile of morph. So it was formerly thought to be an alligatorid, so closely related to alligators rather than crocodiles. But we now think that evolutionarily it split off before crocodiles and alligators, so that it's from a family that's further back than them. The largest specimens of this particular genus range to about 10.6 metres, but fragmentary material suggests it could be even bigger than that. This animal is quite distinct on its skull. It's got quite a large bulbous nose. It almost looks like if you sat on its nose, it could smell your ancestors. But then again, I don't think it would want to do that. I think it just want to eat there. Yeah, probably. Now, being a big crocodile, and crocodiles are notable for their bite forces, Deinosuchus' bite force, and I was surprised about this, could be up to 10 tons. 10 tons. That's a lot. I mean, that's... I don't know how many of that is of me, but I tell you what, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's put it this way: it's probably twice as strong as Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that's a bitey fella. He's a big bitey fella. Now, Deinosuchus lived about 82 to 70 million years ago in the late Cretaceous, and particularly the Campanian. This is when this animal had a quite stronghold on the Western Interior Seaway shores. It actually lived on both sides of the Western Interior Seaway. There are potentially 4 different species. There's Deinosuchus hatcheri, which is the type species, but it's based on poor material, so it could be undiagnostic. You've got Deinosuchus riograndensis, which is better known and better studied species, but possibly actually could be being moved into a genus that it was previously in years and years ago, and that was Phobasuchus. Then there's Deinosuchus rugosa. I don't know, but it doesn't matter anyways because it's valid potentially. And then you've got Deinosuchus schwimmeri, which is the most recently described, but is sort of disputed in a bit. It's a bit funny. We know there's big crocodilians, but the taxonomy is a bit. Oh, it's a bit like Prognathodon. Hey. Now then, if there's a 10-metre long crocodilian, and you're living in the Campanian in North America, where there's a lot of dinosaurs, a lot of turtles, a lot of fish, you'd be loving it. You'll be absolutely loving it. You'll be munching on everything. Except during the Campanian in the Western Interior Seaway, you also had some competition. Kind of. Now let's talk about that. Let's talk about when Deinosuchus met Mosasaurs. Title. But let's set the scene a bit. So the Campanian USA, the Western Interior Seaway, that's the height of the Western Interior Seaway. So we've got this big ocean that cuts right through the middle of America, and it's got a diverse array of different animals that live in the seaway. The climate is quite warm, like it has been for the last few days in the UK, and my brain is melting thinking about this. But anyways, Mosasaurians, they're starting to begin their ultimate diversification and starting to take over from the top predator niche of the large Tylosaurians. On land, though, you've actually got an incredible diversification of hadrosaurs and ceratopsians, as well as you're starting to get the tyrannosaurs sort of taking hold in the top predator niche. So North America during the Campanian was a very interesting place, and sort of would get a bit weirder in the Maastrichtian, but we'll leave that to that. Well, first up is the Tar Heel Formation, or also known as the Coachman Formation. This dates to around about 83.2 to 77.5 million years ago in the lower to middle Campanian. It's a nearshore coastal environment that's made up of siltstones and sandstones. It's located in the Carolinas. There's various fish in this environment, including Zoophactinus. There's sharks like Squalicorax, and there's dinosaurs like Appalachosaurus, which was a large tyrannosaur, and Hadrosaurus, which was almost the American dinosaur for a bit. This is also the type locality of that invalid species of Deinosuchus, Deinosuchus rugosus, but Deinosuchus is there. But along with Deinosuchus, we also get a few mosasaurs. Now we get Haliosaurus, which is a small 5-metre long, mainly fish-eating mosasaur, so it wasn't really a competitor with Deinosuchus in my eyes. You've got Platycarpus, which was a bit bigger, a bit more manoeuvrable, and probably was a bit more of a competition to maybe juvenile Deinosuchus. But to adults, no chance. Now this is where it gets interesting. In the same locality, you've got Tylosaurus and Prognathodon. Now these are up to 10, 12, 13 metre long animals, and being the lower to middle Campanian, these Tylosaurus could be Tylosaurus rex. But Tylosaurus rex is a much more of an offshore species, whereas Prognathodon was probably a bit more local, a bit more shoreline area. So maybe Deinosuchus had a bit more competition with Prognathodon than it did Tylosaurus, but if it ever came into conflict with Tylosaurus, I think it'd fare alright, to be fair. Well, then again, Mosasaurs are just better. We're going to jump to the Adu Formation, which is about 81.5 to 76.9 million years old. It's lower to middle Campanian again, but this is actually in the southern areas of the United States, so like Texas and Mexico. It's composed of mainly sandstones, conglomerates, claystone, mudstone, shale, and some limestones. You've got very famous ceratopsians down here, like Ajudiceratops. Now, I apologise if I pronounced that wrong. You've also got hadrosaurs like Critosaurus and Mellifica. That one there. You've also got ankylosaurs like Panoplosaurus and Euoplocephalus. Several Maniraptorines as well, so like Troodon and Sauropholestes. Lots and lots of turtle species. So the local Deinosuchus riograndensis, they were quite happy with that. Unfortunately, the Mosasaur material is very, very partial. There's only one partial vertebrate known from this location, this formation. I couldn't really tell you out about it, to be honest. Just we know that a Mosasaur lived there, and that's about it. So we'll move on to the next one. The Bladen Formation, so about 77.5 to 76 million years ago, for a very tiny gap. Middle Campanian, it's located in the Carolinas. It overlies the Tar Heel and Coach formations. This is composed of silt and sandstone, so we've got very similar compositions to the underlying formations and probably similar fauna. But this area's got reduced freshwater habitat and sort of been more taken over by estuarine encroachment, so the sea's moving up, the sea levels are going up and up and up, and they're taking hold of this shallow environment, this shallow freshwater environment. You've got sharks like Cretalamna, Scapanarhynchus, Squalicorax. You've even got, and this actually surprised me, you've got potential Onchopristis. But no Spinosaurus. But we've also got various fishes, including Encodus, which keep an eye out for that one in the future. Encodus, a few little bits of dinosaurs, and lots of turtles. Again, this is actually where we find the invalid Deinosuchus species, Deinosuchus rugosus. Alongside it, however, you've also got Tylosaurus, which is its main competitor, and that's about it. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, Tylosaurus is the main competitor. Whether there's a large Tylosaurus like Tylosaurus rex, we don't really know. But the competition levels probably aren't as high as we probably think they would be, with Tylosaurus being an offshore hunter. So, again, Deinosuchus probably could have fared alright against Tylosaurus. Maybe. Right, last formation. So, the Marshalltown Formation, which dates from about 75 to 72 million years ago. It's the middle to late Campanian, so could we see Tylosaurus rex again? I have no idea. It's based in New Jersey and Delaware, so it's more New York area, I think. I don't know my US geography, you'll have to probably... I apologise, Americans, but, you know, is what it is. But this formation is mainly composed of glauconite, so a lot of terrestrial stuff, sandstones and siderite. So this type of environment was more of a fluvial deltic tidal estuarine area, so there's a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of variability, a lot of diversity in the environment, so there must be a lot of animals around it. And there's various fishes, there's gars, there's sturgeons, pictodonts, there's dinosaurs like Hadrosaurus, possibly tyrannosaur called Dryptosaurus. You've got many turtles and even bits of small mammal in there, which is actually quite interesting. Deinosuchus rugosus again makes an appearance. It's not valid, but it's a Deinosuchus. Now, the mosasaurs around this bit, they are quite interesting for this one. So, you've got Cladastes, which is your fast-moving, small-bodied mosasaur, really rapid. Again, like Haliosaurus, I think this one's going to be low competition because this animal's going after softer prey. Probably Cladastes was going after softer prey in open water, so it was more offshore than Haliosaurus probably were. Now, this one actually surprised me. Globidens. Globidens is found in this location. Globidens is possibly competitive with Deinosuchus because they're both crushers. Whether Globidens was going after turtles, we ain't got a clue. But we know it was a crusher and may have crushed up similar food to Deinosuchus, so they could have competed there. Haliosaurus is the only other mosasaur in this location, and well, again, similar point to when I mentioned Haliosaurus before. This animal's not going to prove much. In fact, I think it's going to be Deinosuchus food. Yep, Deinosuchus food. Lovely jubbly. Bit of Haliosaurus. So, as concluding thoughts, basically, I don't think that Mosasaurs would have actually competed with Deinosuchus as much as we like to imagine. You have got potentials in Prognathodon and Tylosaurus because they are large-bodied, powerful mosasaurs that probably would have competed with Deinosuchus for certain food sources. Like we do know that Deinosuchus, Prognathodon, and Tylosaurus, or Tylosaurs, went after turtles. Now, there could have been some competition there. Whether Deinosuchus would have been able to outcompete mosasaurs, well, mosasaurs are more aquatically adapted, so therefore the agility is better and their awareness of their surroundings in the ocean is a lot better than Deinosuchus. Deinosuchus, whilst it's a crocodilian, and crocodilians are very good swimmers, it's not as aquatically adapted as a mosasaur. So mosasaurs, they would probably have the environmental advantage, but Deinosuchus had the advantage with the bite force. I'm guaranteeing that a Deinosuchus has bit a Tylosaur in half somewhere. We'll just one day find a Tylosaur that's been bitten in half. Can't win them every time. Anyways, guys, thought it was an interesting video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later. Ta-da. Bye.